right. Well, I wanted to make a video today on, I don't know, just kind of the concept of freedom. I made an interesting video the other day on how just, bullshit human society is kind of thing. And, the way that people are in today's world. But I don't know, like you kind of have to get a sense that, you know, are we really kind of that free in today's world? And that's like such a strange concept because everybody feels as if they're able to just go out, do whatever they want, work wherever you want, be whoever you want. But are you really that free in today's world? Are you really free to do what you want and to create the kind of world that you want? Or are you just kind of put in a system that allows you to live a certain way? What really is freedom? And are we able to change our own destinies? A lot of countries, you're able to vote, you're able to, be who, you know, vote for whatever party, but really what fucking change does it make? you know? If you wanted real change in the world, wouldn't you be able to, create a totally different system, a totally different matrix of how we live our lives? Because in reality, there's not really a lot of freedom in that aspect. Do people band together in the same way they used to when they were creating countries and policies and worldviews? They're completely different and alien to today. And that's like the biggest overarching thought of freedom is like, are you really free in a westernized society? Because certainly in other countries you are not fucking free. Because we in the West kind of herald ourselves as the most free country there is. We are like, this is as free as humans can be. But is that really free? Are we more free than someone living in the fucking jungles of South America? Or are we just kind of slaves to the system, so to speak? Go here, go there, do what they tell you. It's like Rage Against the Machines. Like, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Well, you have to do what they tell you because they own you. It's like, that is the outliner of Western society, is that you are definitely not 100% free. You are not that way. You're not totally and utterly free. Especially when you're dealing with people all around you who would easily, out compete you and take what you have if they were given the opportunity. And they weren't lived in these like rigid set of rules and structures that keep everything in place. So really, we're all just like, it's not so much freedom as it is just living as a part of a, no more free than a bee in a bee's nest. We're just part of that thing. But if a bee goes off on its own, it fucking dies because there's so much stacked against it, so it stays in the colony instinctively. We're the same kind of thing. We're those social insects, social insects that, are just a part of something bigger than ourselves. And I think it's just the weirdest concept to just think of that for a second. Think about how free really are you? Free to forge your own dreams, or are you just free to live within the system they've created for you? And yeah, I know it's like, people disagree with me so fucking often on all my points and positions, but I think of the world in a different way. It's just, I've always had that. And the part of me thinks that, and has always felt as if you're not completely free. Not free to really. Can humans really be free? Can we just be allowed to be given unlimited freedoms to live as we want to and to forge our own path, to forge a world that we wanted, a society we wanted, of our own peoples, of our own identities, our own flags? Definitely can't in the US and Canada. you can't really be free. You're just a cog in the machine, really, realistically speaking. And yes, probably it'd be a lot harder to live without the convenience of going to McDonald's down the fucking road and buying something, to eat, as opposed to living out in the wilderness. But that's not to say that we couldn't use the same advantages of modern society and technology to create something different. And yeah, we have these political systems where you can vote in that, but really, what change do people really have? If it's a government created by the people for the people, and that's the centerpiece of democracy, realistically speaking, it's just a collective hive mind as opposed to real true freedom. And I don't know, it's very interesting when you go out and about and you look around you and you feel like you're looking at not people out and about living their lives, not people freely being themselves and living how they, their true authentic selves. You look at people who are just a part of like a machine kind of thing, so to speak. You just look at like they look like just cogs in the machine, just slowly doing what they think they're supposed to be doing. It's like that is the true thing. When you just look around, you just look at kind of a slow progress towards something deeply dystopian of people all around just kind of existing in this cage of human society. It's really fucked up. I mean, obviously, driving, you live in, it makes sense. You follow the rules of the road, and everything works good. It's a system that works. But how do we have such a good handle on the fact that what we're doing, as far as like having people around of all cultures, is it really working to our benefit, or is it time to kind of forge new identities in the world? Like, is this just the way the world's always going to be in the Western societies? We're just under the same flag, under the same leadership, under the same rule? Or will that ever change? How can that change? Do people want that kind of change where there's like a significant different way of living our lives? It's kind of funny to think of. But yeah, it's just like what you think is like when you go out and about and you look at people, they look like they're just robots. They look like they're just like ants going about their day in the ant nest. They don't look like, free living creatures. They just it looks strange. It really looks strange. And you gotta look at wild animals and think to themselves, like, are they free themselves? Are they just kind of existing in this matrix of sets and rules? I mean, I guess they kind of are more. But yeah, I don't know. It's that real interesting thought in your mind as, could we ever build a new world in a new structure that's deeply beneficial to everyone's freedom? Could you have more of a world where there's more like there's more independence, and you're not having to have all these tickets and like fucking policies and all this shit that just someone has just invented one day. But when you go out, you look around at people and just identify how they look so lost, so completely controlled, how they walk, how they look just lost in their lives. Just completely lost human beings. Just completely, I hate to use the word enslaved, but it's pretty fucking accurate to describe the way people look when you look around them. Is they're just completely tied to this network of human beings. But when you go into a country and out into the more into the rural areas, you see a peoples that kind of feel that more of that freedom. It's like the cities versus the countries. Is like in the country, it's like that spirit of being alive is more alive, you know. And it's like when you go into the cities and you just look around these big box stores and these places, it just looks like they're just people who just they live, they die. That's their only purpose. Buy groceries, buy shit, overpriced garbage, go to their work, go to their jobs. And that's it. That's all there is to living. And I just feel like there's so much of a bigger purpose for a human being in this earth than to just exist. Just become nothing, fade into to absolute. Like almost 100% of people on Earth are just going to be unknown, completely unknown, besides their immediate family. In a generation or two, it'll be like they never even existed in the first place. And isn't that fucked? Maybe some people like that. Maybe some people want that. But for me, I just think that being something massive, changing the world, and being known for hundreds of years is like my ultimate goal in life. It's like, why would you not want that? Why would you want to just be a nobody? Why wouldn't you want to be one of these iconic figures that people talk about for centuries? And it is so unbelievably impossibly hard to become one of those types of people. To bring real change to the world and change the world for the better. And I don't know. It's just a messed up concept that most people will just be nobody, be nothing. They'll fade into existence. It'll be like they never even existed in the first place. And realistically speaking, human beings in general will just be, like we're one of billions of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. And there's trillions of galaxies. It's like, yeah, so like existence in itself of the human species itself is redundant. So the moral of the story is live your life, have fun, and don't give a fuck, because majority of people are not going to bring any change to the world. It's just going to stay the same way it was, regardless of whether or not you lived or not. And yeah, there's very little in general of human beings that our existence is pretty futile because the space is ridiculous. Wouldn't that be nice for us to be, some of us to just become this like major figure, known all throughout the world. Everybody knows your name, everybody knows who you are, what you look like. Isn't that what people want to strive to be? Some mega, I don't know, I'd hate to say the word celebrity. Want the word the leader, great leader of mankind. That would be a great thing to strive for, I would think. Alright, well, peace out. That was a fun philosophy video.